The pain erupts within Boruto's body, and the Juubi's chakra expands like an inferno, swallowing him whole. His eyes close, not from exhaustion, but from the pressure of a power threatening to tear his soul apart. How did he reach this point of no return? Do you remember that day in the Hidden Leaf Village before all the chaos? Boruto was restless. A strange energy was bubbling, but it wasn't the usual kind. It was something more dense and dark. He tried to train in the practice fields, shurikens flying, but his concentration escaped him because every fiber of his body vibrated with a wrong, almost alien frequency. A faint voice in the back of his mind whispered ancient secrets about power and sacrifice. He tried to ignore it, but the curse was there, pulsating in the darkness of his very being. Remember when Boruto awakened the Jōgan? That was a spark, but the true flame, the forbidden power, lay dormant in the Rinnegan, waiting. And he never knew the Rinnegan was a curse in disguise, a cage for something greater. With each use of his new power, a strange connection grew stronger, not with his bloodline, but with an ancient entity. He was losing control of himself because with every victory, he felt his own soul unravel. The curse wasn't just a burden, it was a calling. And with every second, Boruto felt the Juubi's presence intensify, not an illusion, but a reality that began to swallow him from within. He tried to fight and use karma to suppress the energy, but it was useless because the Juubi wasn't just chakra. It was the Rinnegan's own curse, the price for his existence. And the latent power was about to shatter the barriers. The pain became unbearable, an icy inferno tearing through his flesh, and the Juubi's chakra exploded. His eyes closed, not in surrender, but to protect the world from what was about to be born inside. His eyes snap open with an explosion of energy. You feel the pressure in the air, a wave that distorts reality and makes the ground vibrate beneath your feet. What was supposed to be a simple evolution turned into a nightmare. You see Boruto's Rinnegan, and it's not normal. It's hybrid and distorted, with purple hues mixed with black veins spreading across his face like a plague, and the Juubi's chakra dances in his pupil. The vision hits without warning, a torrent of images invading him. It's a flash of the future, a terrifying premonition that makes his heart turn to ice. He can barely breathe from the shock and fear. You follow Boruto's gaze and see villages reduced to rubble. Entire cities turn to dust, desolate landscapes stretching as far as the eye can see, and an endless darkness consuming everything around. The ground ripped open in gigantic fissures. Rivers dried up and life vanished. There is no more color because the world is dying, and a dense shadow covers the sunlight. It's the apocalypse in its cruelest form. And the central figure of this apocalyptic chaos is himself, Boruto. You see the power of the Rinnegan and the Juubi out of control, transforming the hero into a monster that destroys everything he swore to protect. The scene freezes in his mind, and the air catches in his lungs. He is paralyzed because the understanding of what that power truly means is overwhelming, and the burden is too unbearable. This Rinnegan, which should be salvation, is actually his very own curse. A cage not for the Juubi, but for his soul. And with each use, he gets closer to that distorted future. You realize the price is more than he could imagine. It's not just strength, but his essence and his sanity. Boruto is losing himself with every spark of power because the cost is his very existence. The vision slowly fades, but the image of the destruction caused by his own hands remains. The weight of that truth is a scream that echoes in his mind and makes him feel the responsibility. He needs to fight not only external enemies, but the monster threatening to be born within him. And the awakening of this new power is just the beginning of an inferno that promises to swallow everything. Boruto's body trembles even more, and the apocalyptic vision of the future etched in his mind is an overwhelming burden. He tries to suppress the beastly force, but the Rinnegan pulses with a life of its own, and a chilling connection stretches beyond the stars. The eye on his face begins to tingle, and it's not ordinary pain, but a sensation of opening, a portal tearing through the barrier of reality. A dark, ancient voice whispers in his mind, and words in a forgotten tongue fill the void, corroding his sanity with each syllable. He no longer sees the training grounds, but flashes of a distant past, images of a clan with the same cursed gaze. They wielded this power, but they paid a terrible price, and the entire bloodline was a cage for a shadowy entity waiting. Boruto realizes he is not a user, but a receptacle, and the Rinnegan is not his, but an ancestral link that binds him. He is the last heir of a sealed clan, condemned to carry the Juubi's soul, a curse passed down through generations. The shadowy voice intensifies, promising infinite power in exchange for his own mind, demanding the surrender of his soul. Boruto's Rinnegan expands and darkens, and one of the pupils becomes an abyss. The ancient entity manifests and screams his name. He is losing the fight, and the ancestral curse doesn't just want a host. It wants a vehicle to return and destroy everything. Boruto's mind became a battlefield, and the entity's scream echoed in his soul, trying to enslave him. He felt the darkness grow, and every fiber of his being was ready to shatter because control was slipping from his hands. But before possession was complete, a fissure ripped the air, and space opened with a brutal force, almost as if the fabric of reality had been torn asunder, and a dense shadow was cast. You see a figure emerge from the rift, tall and imposing, cloaked in what seemed to be the very darkness, and her aura was one of ancient power, a weight that made the air tremble. The figure's gaze was an abyss of antiquity, deep and full of secrets. The latent power of the Rinnegan in this figure was palpable, and a cold energy emanated from her, silencing even the Juubi's fury that still tried to consume Boruto, and the entity retreated, startled. Her voice was a whisper from forgotten eras, but resonated with absolute authority in the empty training ground. Enough, boy. The power you wield is not your rightful place. You are merely a temporary host. You feel the pressure as the figure advances, each step seeming to indent the ground, and she looked at Boruto with an icy disdain, as if he were just a broken vessel. The truth of the curse was about to be revealed. I'm the legitimate guardian of the Ancestral legacy, the one who sealed the Juubi within my own body for millennia, she declared, and her eyes, a Rinnegan as old as time itself, gleamed with a sinister intent. And now, I have come to reclaim what is mine. Boruto was paralyzed by pain and surprise, and the voice in his mind, the Juubi's, roared in agony, warning of a greater danger than he imagined. He realizes he is trapped between two powers that covet each other. The figure extended her hand, and a dark purple chakra, dense as night, began to move toward Boruto, attempting to extract the Rinnegan's power from his eye, forcing the curse into a new receptacle. He felt his body being ripped apart from the inside out, and the ancestral curse not only wanted a vehicle, but also his spirit. Boruto screamed in agony as the entity within him fought not to be torn away by force. The curse will be fulfilled, Boruto, the figure whispered, her smile widening, revealing a dark secret. You are not the first, and definitely not the last to be used by this power. Boruto's Rinnegan pulsed in even darker shade, and a new burst of energy enveloped him, not to release him, but to show that he had become the center of an ancestral war that had just begun. Boruto's body contorted in a scream of pure pain, and the ancestral figure's purple chakra clashed against the black energy erupting from his Rinnegan. The battle wasn't just external. It was an inferno tearing him from within as the entity in his eye fought with fury. The ancestral figure recoiled a step, surprised by the intensity of the resistance, and her gaze shone with a mix of intrigue and irritation because she didn't expect such strength from a mere host. You have more power than I thought, boy, she growled, her voice vibrating with the antiquity of ages. Boruto's mind became a chaos of voices. The figure tried to tear him apart, and the Juubi, with a treacherous whisper, offered control, infinite power to crush the invader and embrace the darkness. But he knew the trade-off was his very own soul. He pushed both forces away with a violent rejection. Boruto didn't want to be anyone's toy nor monster. He felt his own essence slip away, his identity draining like sand between his fingers, and that terrified him more than death. In a flash of clarity, he ignored the Rinnegan's curse and channeled karma, the power he had suppressed with so much force. A vibrant blue energy began to manifest in his arm, an ICY counterpoint to the purple and black that enveloped him. This new manifestation wasn't the Juubi's, but his own, a roar of defiance against the fate they tried to impose upon him. Boruto attacked with astounding speed, using karma to repel the ancestral figure's extraction attempt. The ancestral figure staggered, her Rinnegan wide with shock. This energy, it's impossible, she whispered, and the cloak covering her rippled with the force of the impact. She realized Boruto was more than a mere receptacle. He was a catalyst. The Rinnegan's curse is a test. Boy, she screamed, her voice distorted by fury. The Juubi is merely the key to a dimension where not even the Otsutsuki would dare tread. And I need that power to control this abyss. A new vision flooded Boruto, not of the future, but of a distant past where shadowy figures with hybrid Rinnegans opened portals to unimaginable dimensions, and chaos ensued, swallowing entire worlds. He saw the truth behind the ancestors' desire. Boruto felt the weight of the universe on his shoulders. He could embrace the Juubi's power to fight the ancestral figure and become a monster of the visions, or risk everything to find a new path, a way to seal the curse forever. With a roar, Boruto unleashed a chakra explosion that mixed karma's energy with the contained pressure of the Rinnegan. Not to use the Rinnegan, but to reject it. The ancestral figure was thrown backward with brutal force. He wasn't accepting the curse, but bending it to his will. Boruto's eye, the Rinnegan, shone intensely, but now it wasn't with the dark color of a Juubi, but with a unique, golden glow as he prepared for the next battle. Boruto was no longer a receptacle. He was the very own barrier. The golden Rinnegan pulsed with a new energy, a defiant roar echoing through the skies, making the ancestral figure's eyes widen in panic. He felt his own chakra merge with the curse, rewriting every seal, every bond of the Juubi in his body with an ironclad determination. It was a painful choice, a total surrender, not to be consumed, but to consume the power. The ancestor felt the change, the rejection in every fiber of that chakra, and let out a furious cry because her plan was crumbling. "Do you think you can tame what even the gods dared not touch?" she screamed, launching a wave of pure chakra at Boruto. But Boruto's golden energy did not recoil. He accepted the curse, but transformed it, creating an armor of chakra that radiated protection and an unbreakable barrier against the will of the Juubi and anyone who dared to control it. The ancestor's chakra wave collided with the golden protection, and the air exploded with the force of the impact, tearing the ground and raising a curtain of dust. Boruto stood steadfast, the center of the storm, unyielding. He channeled all of karma, all the Juubi's power now under his control, not to destroy, but to repel her influence with overwhelming force. The ancestral figure felt the pain, the rejection, and stumbled backward, powerless and shocked. "This doesn't yendi here, boy," she snarled, her body trembling as the spatial rift that brought her began to reopen. She dissolved into shadows, returning to the void from which she came, promising vengeance. Boruto fell to his knees, exhausted, his entire body numb from using so much power. The golden Rinnegan flickered, but his vision was blurred, and a sharp pain pulsed in his chest, a reminder of the sacrifice made. He had rewritten destiny, transforming the curse into a vow of protection. But you know that every great power has a price, and the cost of this new existence would still be revealed in a world about to face an even greater threat. The curse was broken, but the scars of the battle remained on his body and soul, and the world would need someone to protect it from an uncertain future. He would be that guardian, whatever it takes. If you loved this epic saga and felt the thrill of every battle, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing, and let us know in the comments what you think comes next. There's much more waiting for you on the channel.